Where did we meet? Well, we both went to school at Northeast, and I was in the nursing program. He did broadcasting, journalism. So I remember it was like gonna be my last semester. I was home for Christmas break, and I got this random Facebook request from someone, and I was like, oh, it says he goes to Northeast. I probably know him. Probably ran into him somewhere. So I added him on Facebook, and he messaged me, and I kind of was like, I really don't know this guy, so I'm not going to message him back.
I had seen her on campus a couple times, but she was always with the nursing girls. I was like, I'm not about to go up and talk to her and get rejected in front of a group of girls. So then we had a mutual friend on Facebook, and I added her because I recognized her. I added her, and I tried sending her a message, and it was like total deflection.
Fast forward to like summertime, I started my job at the hospital. We had a mutual friend, and he saw that we were friends on Facebook, and he's like, how do you know Will? I was like, well, I don't really know Will. He's like, oh, you should get to know him. He's a really cool guy. So then he like messaged me again on Facebook, and I was like, okay, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. I'll see. So he asked me if I wanted to go get coffee or something, and I was like, I don't know about coffee.
Deflected. And then after a while, some time went by, and I had just got off work, and I was like, let's see what she's up to. So I text her. I'm like, hey, how's it going? And I got a text back, and it was like, who is this? I was like, wow. I said, this is Will. She's like, oh, hey, I just thought about texting you. I was like, oh, you deleted my number, huh? She was like, no. And then like a couple weeks later, she's like, yeah, I did delete it. I didn't save it. I was like, okay.
Somehow I didn't save his number, and I deleted his number. And I don't know why I didn't just send him a random Facebook message to see how he was doing or what he was up to. But then he ended up like texting me. It was crazy. He ended up texting me that same day, small talk, and then we ended up, I think he had started back to Northeast and was like, hey, I have class this day. I'm done by 2 or 3 in the afternoon or something like that. I want to meet up. So then met up with him. I think we just went to the mall, and I was kind of nervous to meet him. My mom was actually at the mall, so I called her because I saw him sitting there. I was like, oh, man, I'm so nervous. So I called her. I went to the store that she was at. She's like, just go and meet him. It'll be fine. So then I went back to the food court, I think is where he was sitting, and then met up with him and hung out with him. So I guess that's kind of how we met. First time we ever hung out, he said maybe 10 words. I was like, this guy doesn't talk. This is never gonna work out.
It was awkward. I admit it was awkward. I was shocked because like I haven't, I'd been on a date or anything in a long time, so I was just like, I don't know what to say. I was like kind of just froze. So it was like she was asking me questions. I was giving her one-word answers.
And I was like, okay, this is going really terrible. Like, he's never going to want to see me again. I don't know what I did. So then I was like, well, I'm hungry. I was like, so I'll order a Domino's pizza. He's like, yeah, sure, I'll eat. So I think I got a large pizza. He ate maybe 1 slice, and I ate like 5. And I was like, okie doke. This is great. Now I look like a fatty, and he's not talking.
I think I had like 1 slice. Didn't eat much. I didn't eat. I think I ate like half the pizza actually, and then I left. And she texted me, she's like, I ordered that pizza for you too. I was like, yeah, I wasn't hungry.
So the day before, my friend, we had a Husker party, so we were at her house all day. We were like drinking, playing yard games, stuff like that. So then the next day, it was our 2-year anniversary. It was a Sunday. I woke up kind of hungover because we were having fun the day before. And he's like, let's go out to eat for lunch today. I was like, okay, sounds good.
I was like, where do you want to eat at? And she's like, oh, Whiskey Creek sounds good. But I had forgot that I made the, dinner reservation somewhere else. So we get up, and she's getting dressed. And I remember, saying I was going somewhere, and I just dropped, the wine and everything off and had everything set up. And for some reason that day, she did not do her normal routine of, going and get ready. She went to stay, what are we doing today? What are we doing today? I'm like, just go to the restroom and get dolled up so I can stuff this box in my sock. So she finally did that. I hurry up and stuffed the box in my sock, and we're going, and she was driving towards Whiskey Creek, and it hit me at the last second. I said, I already got everything planned out. Just go to the other restaurant.
I don't want to go to Napoli's. You said we were going to Whiskey Creek. We're going. I want a steak. He's like, go to Napoli's. And I was like, I don't want to go to Napoli's. He goes, you better turn at this intersection to go to Napoli's right now. I was like, fine, I will go. I will turn left.
And she's like, well, I want Whiskey Creek. I'm like, well, you can't go because I already paid for the food. And she's like, well, how do you know what I want? I was like, because you eat it all the time.
How do you know what I want? He goes, you get the same thing. I was like, well, today I want something different. So we got to Napoli's, and it was the same waitress because he had taken me there for my birthday and maybe another anniversary. Him and this waitress, they always scheme things. So I walk in the door, and I was like, this is where we go for every big event. It's our 2-year anniversary. Wasn't really expecting much, but go way to the back of the restaurant. There's a table with some flowers.
I don't know, for some reason, I was fine when we got there, and then the closer I knew I was going to ask her the question, I remember we got our water and everything, and I was just looking. I was like, they have this emergency exit thing next to this painting, and she was like, what? Why are you being so weird?
Why are you being so weird? So then after she'd brought us some bread or something and a bottle of wine, it said, thank you from your friends at Wetzel and Truex Jeweler. And I was like, why does my bottle of wine say thank you from a jewelry store on it? He goes, I don't know. It was just the one that I picked out. I think they probably sponsor or something. And I was like, oh, okay. I was like, no, for real, Will. Why does the bottle of wine say thank you from your friends at Wetzel and Truex Jeweler? And he goes, well, fine. I guess I'll just ruin the surprise. I got you a necklace. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, can I see it? He goes, it's at home. I hid it under the bed. You'll have to get it when we get there. And I was like, whatever. Okay.
My waitress came over, and she was kind of just standing there looking at me. And then I was looking at her you're kind of blowing it, lady. And she looks like, oh, you want me to take the picture? And she's like, take a picture for what? I'm like, oh, just to celebrate our 2-year anniversary or whatever. And I forgot what I said to her to this day.
He said, I love you. And I was like, well, yeah. And then he went, I don't know, because then I realized what was happening because he was super nervous. And I'm like, ooh, so I think this is where I get engaged. I kind of blacked out. I grabbed onto the chair. I was like, oh my gosh, this is how it's happening.
Thought she was going to pass out. She just got pale, and I was like, Morgan Elizabeth Paulson, will you marry me? And she was looking, and she put her hand on the table and kind of leaned back, and her eyes kind of rolled to the back of her head. I was like, we might have to start this over if you pass out. So
I was in a state of shock, and I was just like, yeah, sure. I was like, wait, no, that's not what I'm supposed to say. I was like, yes, of course I'll marry you.
And we got in the car, and she was sitting there looking at me with I hate surprises. I was like, shouldn't you be happy right now or crying or something? Why are you worried about surprises? And we were driving, and we got in the garage at home, and she's looking at the ring and then look at me, and then look at the ring again, and then it's like she hit me in the arm. She was like, "Ugh, you and these surprises." I'm like, cry already. Stop hitting me. It's a surprise. You're supposed to be happy. It's just.
What would I like to say to Will on our wedding day? Well, at this point, we're already married, and I am just excited to start our adventure together. Thank you for always supporting me and loving me, and can't wait to see what the future holds.
That I love her. Can't wait to spend, a lifetime with her and create more memories and laughter and no more awkward pizza stories. I'm always gonna be there for her and have her back no matter what, and just keep building on what we have.
It's my honor and privilege to introduce to you, for the very first time, Mr. and Mrs. Will and Morgan Bates.